Welcome to a fresh hour of First Take. Let's go to the NBA here. Cooper Flagg out-dueled LeBron James as the Mavs took down the short-handed Lakers 134-128 on Sunday. Flagg finished with 45 points, 9 dimes, 8 boards, becoming the first rookie to ever score 40 or more points in a game against LeBron. James had 30 of his own, 15 assists, and 9 rebounds in the loss. LeBron and the Lakers were forced to play shorthanded, of course, as Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves will both now miss the rest of the regular season with injuries. Here's LeBron and his reaction to learning about Reeves' oblique injury on Saturday.
Took my nap after practice, and I woke up with that news. That was like another shot to the. And I was like, we knew we it was a shot to the heart, obviously, and to the chest and to the mainframe with Luka, understanding that, AR, he's kind of dealing with the pain. We seen OKC, whatever the case may be, and we knew he was going to get an MRI. But I woke up from my nap yesterday and then saw that news. I was like, that was literally my tone.
Yeah, timing really could not be worse for the Lakers, who obviously were on a roll and really pushing for the playoffs. There's a handful of games left in the regular season, so now it falls on the king. How far can LeBron carry these Lakers without AR and Luka?
They're going home in April. There's without Luka and without AR, the Lakers are going home in April. Ladies and gentlemen, they couldn't stop a cold against the Dallas Mavericks. They couldn't stop anybody. And when AR and Luka Doncic are looking like better defenders than the people you had on the floor, it ain't nowhere to go from there. Now, in fairness to the Lakers, LeBron, Kennard, DeAndre Ayton, Hachimura, Laravia, they had never started. They never shared the floor together this season, let alone started. They hadn't shared the floor together this entire season. So I'm willing to say maybe that's a reason, but they just looked porous defensively. And you can't ask LeBron, who was exceptional yet again, you can't ask him to turn around and carry the load as a number one option at the age of 41 in his 23rd season, which obviously he is now that Luka and AR are out. There's but so much you can ask. I love what J.J. Redick said. These guys are planning on coming back. They're not giving up on coming back, meaning Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. We know that. So it's our job to extend the season in time for them to be able to return to action. I don't know if the Lakers could do that. I think that in order for the Lakers to have any shot, they both have to be back somewhere midway through the first round in order for the Lakers to pull this off. Zero, I repeat, zero chance of getting out of the first round, which means their season ends this month.
It's sad. Like, that's what comes up for me as someone that has been an observer and has covered the NBA for so many years. You'll be hard-pressed to find a double whammy to hit a team in the same night, a triple whammy. First, you get waxed by OKC. Yeah. You come back to earth, and then you lose your best player, and then you lose your second option, and then you're left with your 41-year-old hanging on by a thread, his future with this franchise. Now you're putting everything on him. And I think this is where you see the atrophy in LeBron, the fact that if this were 5 years ago, Stephen A., we'd be saying, you know what, we give LeBron a chance against
That's right.
the Timberwolves. We give him a chance against the Houston Rockets. I still give them, Stephen A puncher's chance against the Houston Rockets just because they're so porous in the clutch. And LeBron, if is nothing else, is the greatest supercomputer that this league has ever seen. But that will require the Lakers to keep things close. That will require the Lakers to play enough defense to keep Houston from running away. They have no chance against Denver. They have no chance against Minnesota. Against Houston, maybe you give them a slight chance to extend it to a sixth game. And Luka Doncic is going over to Europe to get second options and everything else. I'm worried about that because, Stephen A., with a hamstring and you risking it, once you start having hamstring issues, once you start having soft tissue issues.
Wait, you're worried about the injury or you're worried about him getting the treatment?
No, I'm worried about not necessarily the treatment, but if you're pushing yourself to this and you wind up popping your hamstring. It's not just this season you're worried about. This is year 8 for Luka Doncic. Like, he's not a year 3, year 4 guy anymore. Mm-hmm. So you don't want this guy to have hamstring issues for the duration of his career because you're trying something that's a very low risk reward proposition anyway. We talked about how porous the Lakers defense is. Even when those guys were there, the ceiling was lower, and we're extrapolating and saying maybe, just maybe. I wouldn't want to risk this if I'm the Lakers and Luka Doncic for their future.
A couple of things. Number one, naturally in our society today, trolls exist everywhere. And so you had some lying asses on social media talking about, I said Luka Doncic was faking his injury. I was joking about that. I said they got their ass kicked so badly, it almost looked like it was an excuse for him to leave the game. That is what I said. I would never say that the player is faking an injury, not to mention the fact that Luka Doncic has a history of hamstring injuries. So let's get that out the way now. Secondly, when you think about Luka Doncic and him coming back, you are right. Lakers got to make a decision. He is their future. And you certainly don't want to rush him back. That's number two. Number three, LeBron James had only played one game this season without both Luka and Austin Reeves. Other night against Dallas was the second game that has happened. So all of those things contribute to a lack of chemistry or whatever, and still he was able to go out there and do what the hell he did, which once again just illustrates his greatness. But you don't have much. And I think that unfortunately, and I think this month is going to be very, very hard for LeBron James. And I'm going to tell you why. They're going to lose, okay? You're not winning in the playoffs without Luka and Austin Reeves. You have no chance, zero, because it's Denver, it's Minnesota, it's Houston. All of these teams are on the way. You're facing one of them in the first round. You're not beating any of those teams without the both of them. That's not going to happen, okay? Let's get that out the way. And you certainly obviously not going to have a chance to win a championship. So it's going to be a very difficult month because he's going to have a decision to make, and he's going to be in the news with people speculating about him left and right. Maybe he'll like it, maybe he won't. But what we're going to be asking ourselves is, okay, looking in the future, taking away Tinseltown, because obviously it's very, very difficult to leave Southern California. That is not an easy decision to make. Let's be very, very
Stephen A. is sitting right here. It's so hard for him to leave Southern California.
It is a very, very difficult decision to make. But in the event that you're contemplating making that decision, it comes down to the belief that you have in who you are with Luka and AR in the lineup compared to what you could have back in Cleveland if you decide to make that move there next year, because you are going to be a free agent. These are things that people are going to speculate about in the weeks to come, and they should. It's not that LeBron is playing with house money. He doesn't lose. He's looked great this year at many, many points, obviously just cementing his greatness and his contribution to L.A. We get that part. We know that Luka's the future. We know they got to make a decision about how much you're going to pay AR, all right, or whether or not you are going to pay AR, or you're going to move him for some assets. And even then you want to sign him first because he's only at about $13 million, due to make about $14 million next year. And you want to give him the big money that he deserves, by the way, because he easily deserves about $35 million a year in today's economy. Easily, AR deserves that. So knowing that, you got to get that signed and make sure you can get equitable compensation in return for his services in the event that you want to let him go. And if you don't want to let him go, what are you going to do with LeBron, who's a free agent, and he can make whatever decision he wants? And it's going to come down to what level of belief he has. It could come down to that, unless he's making it for personal reasons. I don't want to leave California. I don't want to go back to Lake Erie. I like the warm southern sunshine out here. But if it's strictly about basketball, it's going to come down to, do I have a better shot in L.A.? And everybody knows the answer to that is no. With OKC, San Antonio, Houston going to have a point guard back at Van Vliet next year, okay? Minnesota, Denver. You clearly have a better shot of getting back to the finals and ending your career on a championship run if you joined Harden, Mitchell, Mobley, and Allen and the crew in Cleveland. So all of those things are going to be speculation that we'll touch on in the weeks to come.
Didn't LeBron say that he didn't like playing in Memphis and Milwaukee? And then he said, I don't even like going home. I don't think he wants to play.
I didn't hear that last part. I didn't hear that. Honestly, I didn't. I'm not saying you're lying. I didn't hear that part. I didn't hear that.
I don't think LeBron, at age 41, wants to spend another winter in Ohio.
Okay.
I think if he's going to explore other things, he's going to stay west, right? Maybe it's San Francisco. Maybe it's the Clippers. Maybe you stay in L.A. I think he's going to have the oyster in front of him. The problem is, if next season is his last season, do you want to go on a farewell tour with a franchise you don't know, with a franchise that does not know you, then you become a true mercenary.
Right.
And it's an ending that isn't fitting for his career.
I will say this to you, last part. I want to be totally fair to LeBron James here. I think he's playing with house money in this regard as well. If he stays in L.A., who can blame him?
Mm-hmm.
If he goes to Cleveland, who can blame him? If he decides to join Steph Curry in Golden State, who can blame him? And I mean, listen, people say, oh, mercenaries, stop that nonsense, because Golden State is considered on that echelon right now, talent-wise, collectively. But you talk about a big story. When Kevin Durant went to Golden State, when LeBron went to Miami, they said it was like sports version of the Beatles. If LeBron joined Steph Curry in Golden State, I know I ain't gonna complain about it. I'm gonna sit up there and go like this. I don't give a damn what y'all say. I'm happy, because you talk about a storyline that would magnetize the basketball world the globe over. I don't know if it gets bigger in swan song twilight years for Steph and LeBron to be on the same damn team. That would be special. LeBron is playing with house money if those are the three scenarios we're talking about. Nobody can say, I certainly won't criticize it. I can tell you that much right now.
Let me correct myself real quick. When LeBron was saying home, he meant home as in Akron. I took home as in Cleveland. Now, LeBron and Steph, Twilight Zone. You said Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Crazy town.
It would be
Two biggest stars of our generation.
It would be insane. I'm just telling you right now.
Current plan.
The only thing that would usurp that as a storyline is football. It's football. Nothing's beating the NFL, and that don't matter that much to us on Sundays and Monday nights. Damn it, Thursdays and Fridays, for crying out loud, with the stuff that the NFL is doing. But I'm telling you, right now, if LeBron sits up there and says, "I'm going to join Steph," nobody's going to be mad at that at all. And the basketball world will be transfixed on the Bay Area. That is just a fact.
Bay Area has a lot of nice golf.